Hi guys, my name is Austin Santee. I'm a personal trainer and fitness model here in San Diego, California. You can find me at Austin Santee on Instagram and YouTube. Welcome to The Perfect Pour.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Josh Copeland here. Welcome to The Perfect Pour. As you probably have noticed, we had to change the name only because there's so many people out there who was jocking us, like Dwayne Wade, of course, freaking weirdo, the wind down. Everybody wants to be the wind down, so we decided to be different. So I'm calling it The Perfect Pour now for all you guys out there. I'm gonna be a freaking trailblazer, trendsetter. That's the name. Don't bite. Because if you bite, I'm gonna be flattered. Anyway, so I've got a guest right now. His name is Austin.
Don't start me with a good time.
Austin Santee comes with a perfect pour, but it's about fitness. That would hurt my feelings. Yeah. Speaking of fitness, I've got Austin Santee here. He is a fitness model / personal trainer. This guy has been all over the place, including on Ellen, on Fox's Ultimate Tag, and now he's got his own supplement company called Try the Co. Austin, how are you doing today, man?
I'm awesome. Thank you so much for having me on the show today.
Dude, the honor's all mine, man.
Absolutely.
Seriously, dude. So we're just going to be hanging out here and like the guest before you, just kind of kick it, have a good time.
Perfect.
No political, nothing.
I already got my shoes off. I'm making myself at home.
Hell yeah, man. That's how we're doing, Doug.
All right.
And right now, so Josh Cellars strikes again. Obviously, I mean, if you can't tell, like, this is my favorite, wine of all time,
It's perfectly named.
Oh, the best name of all time. Like, why would I call it anything else, right? So what's different about this Josh Cellars wine is the cabernet sauvignon. This is the bourbon barrel aged wine. This one's really, really delicious. It's actually on the darker side. It's very, very bold, probably because it's aged as if it was a bourbon. So with this one, it's a lot more on the tannic side rather than smooth. It's drier rather than sweet, and it's actually softer rather than on the acidic side. So drinking a wine like this, you're gonna have a lot of accents with the oaky, smooth kind of feel. You're gonna have oak, vanilla. You're gonna have tobacco. You're gonna be able to taste accents from like smoke, leather, cocoa even, and you're also going to taste things like blackberry, black currant, darker fruits, that thing. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to try this out right now. Actually, I'm going to pour you one first.
Thanks, sir. My only question is, did they name it after you, Josh?
Well, I mean, I would be surprised if they didn't. No, I'm just kidding. No, this is actually by Josh Cellars.
Well, it fits the flavor profile.
I think so. But, fun fact, Josh and I...
Is this a taste, or what do we got here, man?
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, well, excuse me. I'm sorry. All right.
I thought this was called The Perfect Pour. That was not a perfect pour. There you go.
I am being considerate. The last one was...
Be generous here, all right? We're in a drought.
I don't know if we are concerned of our image or anything like that, so I just,
It's bulking season.
It's bulking season.
Cheers.
Respect that. See, I already...
Thanks for having me, brother.
Oh, no problem, man.
Well, you hit the nail on the head.
I've been wanting to try this wine for a very, very long time, and I had to wait till I had a very special guest to try it with.
I feel very special. Thank you.
Dude, I hope so, man.
And this is actually really delicious.
This is very, very good.
Good job, Josh.
I can say the same to you, Josh. Good job. But enough about me, though, Austin. Let's get into you, bro. So, dude, you're pretty much a fitness connoisseur. How did you get into it? How did you start?
Oh my gosh. I mean, ever since I was a kid, you couldn't find me without a football, a baseball, a basketball. Like, I'd be walking around and I would have a football in my hands or a basketball, depending on what season it was.
Sure.
I feel bad for my dad because I used to make him stay out, until 8, 9 p.m. at night, just throwing me passes in the parking lot. And, looking back, I realized that he had a life and he had other things he wanted to do, but he was out there throwing the ball to me. And so I feel very fortunate for that experience. Fast forward to high school, I'm still a 3-sport athlete. I was playing baseball, football, and basketball. And I actually hated working out. I did not like to be in the gym. I was I want to play sports. That's what I love to do, and that's what I want to do. Wow. And so when we'd be lifting for football, I'd be screwing around, messing with my friends and wanting to get outside and be on the field.
Yeah.
And so I kind of didn't take advantage of all of the resources I had or should have in high school. But as soon as I graduated, I kind of needed to have an outlet, right? Mm-hmm. And so my goal from being 4 years old was to play professionally, was to go to the league. And unfortunately, I dealt with some injuries my senior year that kind of derailed that.
Yeah.
And so what ended up happening was I had a stinger in my neck and shoulder my entire senior year. And instead of like rehabbing it and taking care of it and like taking time off, I was like, it's my senior year, I'm not going to miss a game. And so I played that whole year, still recorded 76 tackles, still got special teams player of the year.
Wow.
And every time I hit somebody, I just feel that pain, you know?
What's a stinger though?
So it's like nerve damage in the like the spinal area. And what happened was every time I would hit somebody, I'd get a shooting pain from my neck into my shoulder. And so like you'll see like videos of me playing football, and like afterwards I'll like go to grab my neck because I hurt it in that instance. So I kind of just played through the pain, and that was, you know, it's that immaturity when you're a kid. You're like, oh, you know, it's like, get back up, you know, if it don't kill you, it makes you stronger, right?
Yeah.
And I kind of wish I had somebody to tell me that was kind of the wrong mentality, because that kind of is what ended up derailing, you know, my future as far as that goes. Fast forward a bit later, I was playing baseball, and I broke my jaw my senior year playing baseball. And so there was a pop fly behind the second baseman, and the second baseman was my best friend in high school, and I'm still, you know, a little upset with him for that today.
Gosh,
he kind of moves out of the way because he sees me and the right fielder coming, and I dive for the ball, and the bottom of my jaw hits the top of his head, knocks him unconscious. Yeah. So I'm looking at him, and he's laying on the floor, you know, and I throw the ball in, and I'm like a little disoriented, and I feel in my mouth, and I could tell that like I thought I was missing a tooth. I thought one of my teeth fell out, and so I'm looking on the ground for my tooth while he's passed out right there. And
he's like the real life Crimson Chain.
Yeah, and so I'm yeah, exactly. I think I lose a tooth, and I'm looking on the ground, and my coaches come over and they help me out, and they're like, you have all your teeth, you're fine, blah blah blah. And so he had to go out of the game, and so I'm like, well, I feel fine, like I'm gonna stay in the game. So they put some gauze in my mouth and soak up the blood, and I go back out, and you know, the worst part of it all, I missed the ball. I didn't even catch the ball.
Oh wow.
So I go back out. A couple pitches later, I go to like swallow some of the blood in my mouth, and I can't even move my mouth. It just like was sealed shut. And so I was like, this is a problem. There's something wrong. So my brother-in-law was at the game. He took me to the ER. I spent the next 24 hours in 2 different ERs, and that was a fun experience. And then so throughout it all, I had to have 2 surgeries to fix the jaw, and then I had my jaw wired shut for prom. And I think I went from 160 pounds to like 142 in that process. I was living off of like milkshakes and vitamin mixes, you know.
Oh, jeez.
So it was rough. And then basically that's kind of what led me on my journey, though. So you know, I'm grateful for it. You know, I can look back and be like, okay, this is what led me this way and just down this path. And so if you're able to embrace those things, then you can truly find, you know, the light at the end of the tunnel.
Of course.
So I graduate high school. My jaw's all healthy. I was going to go play Division III football, and kind of had that all lined up. I ended up like last minute deciding to pivot because I was like, I don't want to go play Division III. Like I want to play, you know, and if I'm going to do this, like I'm going to go the right way. So I decided to spend that whole off season training and rehabbing my injuries, putting some size back on after the broken jaw. Yeah. And so I spent the whole summer of my post senior year in the gym with my brother and my cousin, and I worked from 9 to 5, and I went to the gym from like 6 to 9 every single day. We would lift weights, we'd play basketball, we'd hit the sauna like clockwork. And within a couple months, like I started to see the results, and I started to realize like why people love to work out, and I started to feel better, and I started to look better, I started to like gain confidence. Yeah. It was just this whole like new world to me. I didn't used to be, you know, very personable. I used to be really shy, and so this really started that me down that path, was just achieving that self-confidence that the gym kind of brings for you. So really grateful for the experience to like find the gym, and really grateful for all of the kind of benefits that it has provided me in my life.
Wow, that is inspiring.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel you on the injury thing in high school, man. I remember I suffered like an injury in my groin because like I tried out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I tried out freaking wrestling, and I was rolling with some guys, and next thing I know, I feel like I'm popping my freaking groin. Ooh. Yeah, my hip flexor, and it sat me out, and then I think I got into a fight or something like that. I got kicked off the team. But yeah, I was out. I was out for not only for wrestling, because during wrestling it was like. training for cross country because I was really a runner.
Yeah.
And I thought I'd try wrestling to kind of help get whatever beefy or whatever. But yeah,
did it work?
Yeah, kind of.
Kind of.
I mean, they did more running than
Aside from the injury,
yeah. they did more running than anything else. So, I mean, it was like I was at home.
Conditioning 2.0.
Yeah, I was like, oh, so I get to lift weights too?
Right.
Nice. So, I mean, when you guys run, you guys run 10 miles, that's it? Like, that's funny. That's cute. You know, I was like, oh, that's a long day for you?
I eat 10 miles for breakfast.
Yeah, no, seriously.
That's awesome.
You know, we'd have 2-a-days and stuff.
Yeah, there you go.
I definitely feel you, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, so basically from there, what ended up happening was I went to junior college, and I had intentions of playing football. And so I spent that whole year off-season training, getting bigger, getting faster, getting stronger. I went back out for spring training for the following season at junior college, and I was playing basketball over spring break, and I severely sprained my ankle. And that was kind of when I knew I was like, this is, it's not going to work. So I had to rehab that. It was like 6 weeks from the injury, another, month and a half of PT. And I went back out and trying to like keep up with receivers, and I was playing DB at the time, and it just wasn't happening. Like I just didn't have the strength in my ankle, and I didn't have the speed anymore. And so that was when I kind of like was like, okay, this isn't for me. And so that's when fitness became my thing, right? And that's when I was in the gym 5-6 days a week. All of my training partners became my closest friends because you're spending, an hour and a half, 2 hours with somebody every single day doing something positive for yourself and growing and improving yourself. And so it just completely, changed my life and changed my world. And fast forward 3 years later, I'm at San Diego State trying to make some extra money. I decided to start picking up some clients on the side, training friends just for some extra money. And I decided to kind of pursue the personal training route. And I ended up graduating from SDSU with my bachelor's in communication, and I got a big kid job, so to speak. And that what ended up happening there was I just realized that I wasn't into the 9-to-5 lifestyle, Yeah. And so in that process, I was actually, before that was when I started doing the fitness modeling, right? So I don't know if you guys want to go like chronologically like that.
Dude, dog, we're hanging out, bro.
Okay.
Do whatever you want, man. Taking it, dog.
Yeah, I don't want to transition too much. While I was at SCSU, I went to an LA Fitness Expo, the LA Fitness Expo, and that's kind of how I got introduced into the fitness world, right? And that's, you go and you walk around and you see all the fitness models and all the bodybuilders and the supplement stands and stuff like that. And so we went with the intention of getting a bunch of free pre-workouts and samples and stuff.
Nice.
And I met up with my cousin there, and he's kind of the one that started me on my fitness journey and inspired me to like start lifting and working out. And he was like, hey, like I just went and tried out for this fitness modeling thing. Like he's like, I'm not a good fit for it. He's 6'4", like 250, like a big dude. He's like, but you'd be perfect for it. And I was like, no, like I still wasn't very confident. I was like, I was still kind of shy. I was like, I don't want to take my shirt off in front of people. Like that's weird, Yeah. And he's like, he forced me. He like dragged me into the line, right? And so I go and I get over there and I go backstage and I take my shirt off, and they actually liked me, they wanted me. So they kind of bring me aside. They're like, hey, like we really like you. We like your look. We want you to take photos with our photographer. And so that's when I signed with Naturally Fit Agency, based out of Austin, Texas, and now LA. And so
it would be in Austin.
You're right.
Texas.
It was kind of meant to be. Have you been?
No, I've been to Dallas, but I was kind of passing through because I was on a road trip.
Yeah. I mean, Austin out here is like a mini San Diego, so I definitely look forward to checking it out.
I might have to check it out, yeah.
But that's kind of how I got into fitness modeling, and so all of my life just started to kind of go in that direction, And so when I graduated and I got the kind of big kid job and I was doing sales engineering, I loved the fact that I was doing sales and that I was like able to kind of use my mind and also talk to people doing the engineering side of things. But it just like, I felt like something was missing. And so what ended up happening was I found like an ad to go back to school for my MBA, and I'm a huge like fan of like omens and like when like doors open that you kind of follow that path.
Yeah.
And I went to the gym one day at SCSU, and I ran into one of my roommates, and he goes, hey, I'm going to my interview for my MBA program. And I was like, wow, like I can't believe you're already doing your MBA. You're just graduating your bachelor's. He's like, yeah, it's a 1-year daytime program where I go straight into it and I finish my MBA in 1 year. So I was like, that's really awesome. I've always wanted to get my MBA. So I went and like checked it out the next day at work, and sure enough, they were having an orientation that night at Point Loma. And so I was like, this is too good to be true. So I sign up and I go that night, and it just like everything kind of, all the stars aligned and it worked out perfectly. So I ended up quitting my job, going back to school for my MBA, and started to train people again. And one of my first clients was my old boss's son. And he was training to be a fireman, so I started training him on the side. And that's, I was bartending, going to school for my MBA, and then training people on the side.
Oh,
and
dude. Yeah, you were living the life, man.
Hustling.
You were living the life.
Yeah.
Man.
So that's when I graduated with my MBA is when I decided to start my training business full time, and I haven't really looked back from there.
That's freaking crazy. So you basically, you tried the whole 9-to-5 lifestyle, and it didn't work out for you. Mm-hmm. And so you basically traded in a 9-to-5 lifestyle to live out your passions.
Absolutely.
That is, we have to drink to this.
Right.
We have to drink to that. Cheers. Cheers to passion, man. That's amazing, dude. See, that's kind of what I wanted to inspire anybody who's watching this show right now. Is that you don't have to work a 9-to-5. You don't have to do, what society or your parents or whatever tell you to do because it's gonna be safe. Do what you want to do, and the money will eventually come out of that, right?
Absolutely.
Like this guy did it. You could do it too.
Still waiting on the money part, but
well, dude, like I'm pretty sure. Your first client, he's in the academy now, right?
So he actually made a little pivot, and he went from fire to police, and he's now a police officer at Fullerton.
Oh.
Yeah. So it ended up working out.
Well, he's going through hell right now.
Yeah.
So then, from fitness to what is? So you went from modeling. So modeling, like, how long you're still a model right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what is that like? It's funny. I thought the first model on my show would be a woman.
Yeah.
It's all good. It's cool. It's cool, man. No discrimination.
That was good. But you don't think I'm attractive?
Oh, I think it. Well, let the fans decide. Let the fans decide. I don't want to say anything compromising. Get the wrong idea.
I don't want your girlfriend to get jealous.
Right, exactly. Please. It's not what it looks like. No, seriously, so how do you? So you go on there. You take off your shirt. They love you. You're a model now.
Modeling is one of those really interesting careers. There are people who obviously make a living modeling, right? But for the most part, most models or most actors, right, are struggle until they make it, right? So most of the other models that I've met, or most of the other people that I've worked with, they all also are in the fitness industry or in the service industry. They're bartenders, servers, something like that, because they have to kind of make ends meet until they get to the point of where they want to be, right, within the industry. Fortunately or unfortunately, to do most modeling, I have to drive up to LA. Almost every single gig or audition is up in LA, and so I've always told myself that I won't make that move until I have to, if that's the route that I want to go, right? Mm-hmm. And so fortunately, modeling has always been more of a side piece for me. I've always loved more of the fitness route, more of training and helping people as opposed to the modeling. It was just kind of, hey, I work out and I have a nice body, I might as well also get paid to do that, right? Sure. And so it was kind of just a way to make extra money and capitalize on that until it became more of a thing, right? So the industry itself, though, is really interesting in that there are different directions that you can go, right? So you can go more fashion, you can go more print, or you can go more fitness route. And so within the fitness industry, most of the guys that do fitness modeling are the ones who do bodybuilding shows, and those are the ones that are just really big, and they're on a lot of steroids and a lot of different other things. And that's not really my MO or what I'm trying to preach, because I work out to be healthy, not to be unattainable or to be aesthetically pleasing, right? Sure. And so it kind of gets misconstrued, the whole purpose of working out and of trying to better yourself when you are this unattainable, too big to be true type thing, right? Right. And so I was too small to do fitness, too big to do fashion or underwear. So I was in this weird little niche. And the moment I realized I made it was when I wasn't taking my shirt off at photo shoots anymore. And so yeah, I'd done a shirtless photo shoot in over a year that wasn't for a portfolio building event. Yeah. So it's one of those things. It's just the more you do, the more you're gonna get out of it. It's just like anything in life, right? And so since we've had this quarantine and this time to actually like focus on doing other things, this is when I decided to kind of pick the fitness modeling back up. I started to work with some more photographers. I just recently worked with Bernal, who's one of the best fitness photographers in the world. He shoots like most Muscle and Fitness magazine covers, Men's Health, like he's the real deal. And so I just did a shoot with him recently to update my portfolio, to get some new headshots, so that way I can start doing some more within the fitness industry.
I'll have to have him on the show.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a good guy. He's a really awesome guy.
Is he in San Diego?
Very enlightened.
Is he in San Diego?
He's in LA.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He would be.
Right.
So, do you think that people who are in the like bodybuilding industry, do you think there are bodybuilders that don't do steroids, or like is it like a thing?
It's a good question. I don't know. I've done a bodybuilding competition, and backstage it's very prevalent. They're like doing whatever they can to be as lean as possible for the show day, and people are actually bragging about how much steroids they're doing. It's like
Wow.
It's kind of like a very hidden thing within the industry, but it's one of those things like they're just doing what they think they need to do in order to get to where they want to be, right? So you almost can't blame them for like trying to take every competitive advantage that they can, because it's technically not banned in the sport of bodybuilding, right? So yeah, it's one of those things. I mean, I'm not familiar with it enough to speak on it or to say, but I think it's a lot more prevalent than probably most people would think. If that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah. The last thing I'm gonna do is talk about something that you don't really know too much about, but I mean, like. That's pretty interesting though. I didn't know you did. I mean, I knew you were a model, but I didn't know you actually competed with the guys. Did you ever place with the?
Yeah. So I did my first show. I instead of going novice, I went straight for the whole shebang. I was trying to compete and do well. And I mean, I've been training for 10 years, and so one of my fellow trainers, he coached me through the whole process. He helped me do the posing, all that stuff. And, I'm an athlete. So I get on stage and it's 10 seconds. You're up there for 10 seconds and that's it. And you don't really have a chance to like compete, to like have a better placing. It's literally like 12 to 16 weeks of cutting and prep work.
Yeah.
And you're on stage for 10 seconds.
You're just like...
Yeah, and that's exactly what you do, And so for me, it wasn't a very exhilarating experience. I'm like, I'm used to having 60 minutes, an hour, to like score and to play the game and like get that competitive, like the adrenaline rush, right? I'm up there for 10 seconds and it's over, and they're judging me based off of what, I have no idea, right?
Right.
And so I placed 4th in my first competition, which was really awesome.
Without steroids.
Yeah. all natural, yeah. And so I was, super happy with where I came in and placing in that division. And like I said, it just wasn't really for me. So it was cool that I went through that experience, because now I can coach other people and I can tell that story to other people, and allow them to kind of make their own decision based off of what they want to do. But like I said, I've predominantly been training for like as an athlete and a bodybuilder, and so like those two worlds kind of combined, I didn't realize like how much was kind of hidden within the industry.
Yeah. That's pretty cool, man. That's really dope. So you talked a little bit. I did a little research on you. I found out that you went on Ellen as well, man. So I mean, how did she find out about you, man?
Well, Ellen and I are basically best friends now, so there's that.
She's like Ellen's best friends with everybody.
Right, she is. I mean, you can't. Who doesn't love Ellen? Like, come on.
Her staff.
Yeah, so you can find me on Ellen if you type in Hunky Dory on YouTube. I was hoping to be Nemo. My friends call me Nemo. That's a different story.
That I do want to know.
That you want to know, yeah.
I do want to know about what it's like to be on Ellen, because my little brother, he draws and stuff.
Yeah.
I would like to get him on Ellen eventually.
There you go.
He's got this fascination with like the Ninja Turtles, but I mean, like, yeah. Tell us.
Who's your favorite Ninja Turtle?
Oh, Donnie.
Donnie, all right.
Yeah, the staff, man.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
No,
I'm a Leo guy.
Okay, yeah, all right. I've always liked Donatello. I like the fact that he only needs one weapon while everybody else needs two.
Well, and he's the smart one.
And he's the smart one,
yeah.
Exactly. I would think he could figure out the weaknesses of everybody there. But, I don't know.
Well, then he'd be too strong.
Oh yeah, well that's what I thought. And then I saw the actual shows, and I was like, this guy's a punk. I'm gonna have to go for Raph. But no, I'm still a Donnie fan. Well, Donnie till I die.
I'm about it. They don't make cartoons like they used to.
No, they don't. It's a shame. Everything is so it's not about the kids anymore. It's about the message.
Right.
It's about the agenda.
Always a hidden agenda, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was hanging out with my nephew who's like 8, 9 years old, and he's watching cartoons, and I'm like, I don't even recognize the cartoons anymore. Like, they're all very strange cartoons.
Yeah, bro. You ever watch a cartoon and you're just like, oh, I caught that. Like SpongeBob SquarePants was famous for this.
Right.
They would just have these super adult
hidden innuendos for sure.
Yeah, and you're like, whoa. Like, did I just see what I just saw? Like, did he really just... Holy
But
crap.
as a kid, it's just like right over your head.
Yeah, Adventure Time, the regular show was famous for that. Like, a lot of them were just like, dude, I don't know if that should be on TV right now. Like,
Absolutely.
I don't think that should be on kids' cartoons. And then they're pushing all sorts of agendas in there to try to get kids to shape their. I don't know. It's not about the kids. It's very. I don't like cartoons anymore, man.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing like a Saturday morning with a bowl of cereal and Scooby-Doo on TV. Like, those will be my favorite pastime memories.
So it's funny, those had agendas too. With Scooby-Doo, it's funny. It's so prevalent today. But with Scooby-Doo, their message was, humans are the real monsters.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like every time they took off.
I was today years old when I realized that.
Yes. I mean, I went to school for freaking critical analysis, and I read a bunch of literature, and it was boring at first, and now I'm starting to see it all over the place.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's the message they're trying to say.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just writing it in.
And true.
Yeah. Yeah. Just scary stuff that's going on right now. But yeah, that's
We're all just doing the best we can do.
I think so.
Yeah.
But no, seriously, like, tell us about Ellen.
Right? Hunky Dory, okay. So that was me. I did win Hunky Dory, actually.
Really?
Sorry, spoiler alert. So yeah, I'm at the gym one day, and it was right after I had signed with Naturally Fit, the agency, and they're like, hey, Ellen wants you to be on their show. Like, can you be in LA tomorrow? And I go, sure.
Yeah.
And so they're like, okay, you need to be in Burbank, Warner Brothers Studios at 3 p.m. I'm like, okay, you got it. And at the time, I was bartending at Slater's 50/50 at Liberty Station. I called them. I'm like, hey, I'm not coming into work tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I tried to get my shift covered. Couldn't get my shift covered. This was the first time I've ever not shown up for work when I couldn't get somebody else to cover my shift. And I called them that night and I was like, hey, I'm not coming in tomorrow. I can't find anybody to cover. Sorry. And so the next day at 4 o'clock, they're calling me where are you? And I'm like, sorry, I'm in LA and I'm on the Ellen show. Worth it, once in a lifetime experience, right?
Oh, we're gonna have to let you go. Okay.
Yeah. So I was like, there's no way I'm gonna be home. Sorry.
Yeah.
And so they're like, whatever, you're all right. It's the first day I'd ever missed, so they were totally fine with me missing that. And then as long as it wasn't lying, right? So when the show aired, I was made sure that they knew about it.
Yeah. See, this is where
I was there. So it was really cool. I mean, I drove up. They put us backstage. It was me and one other guy. And I get there, and he's this big guy, and he's jacked. I'm like, damn, I gotta go against this guy, Later, we started shooting the shit and became friends, and he was saying the same thing about me, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So we're on the same playing field here, right?
Yeah.
So I feel super VIP. They put me backstage. That all these snacks and free drinks, and I'm like, this is awesome. Yeah. So I'm chilling backstage for 2 hours, and then they're like, hey, we're ready for you guys, and we do a little stage walkthrough, and they kind of tell us what we're gonna do, but they don't give too much information away. And we do our little walkthrough. This is where you're gonna be. This is what you're gonna do. And it was cool just to see what it was like to be backstage of a big studio like that.
Yeah.
And they bring us on to set about an hour later to do the actual live walkthrough. And I get out there and I see all the fans in the arena or in the auditorium, and I'm just like, wow. There's lights shining on me, kind of like there is right now. And
yes.
I just what they tell me. I'm just smile, I'm like, okay, so I'm smiling real big from ear to ear, and I'm like, this is it, I made it,
Yeah, that's crazy.
And so we walk out there and we go and we meet Ellen, and she's like, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna play a game called the Hunky Dory, and it was to basically promote her premiere of Finding Dory. and because she's the voice of Dory.
Yeah.
And so she gives us these blindfolds, and one has Dory on it, and one has Nemo on it, and then I got like these little booty shorts that say Dory, and I'm shirtless. And so the goal of the game was that they paired us with an audience member, and they had us do a blindfolded little obstacle course. And so we had to like navigate through like some seaweed and some underwater whatever, and we had to grab some letters from the Finding Dory premiere sign and bring them back to our teammates. And so basically I navigated the treacherous waters and with the help of my teammate, and I ended up winning that test. So
congratulations.
Or that competition.
We have to drink to that,
right?
Yeah, that's right. We celebrate W's.
Celebrate the small wins.
That's right.
So that was my 3 minutes of fame on that one.
Yeah, it's hunky dory.
She called me a couple weeks ago,
She wants you to be her trainer.
Yeah. If only I could be that lucky, right?
Hey, you never know. I mean, if you guys are really that tight,
right?
I mean, is she in your Rolodex, or is it kind of just like a?
Yeah, I had to go back to the archive for sure. My Galaxy S6,
Oh, okay. That's a very long time ago. What are we on, the Galaxy 16 now?
Right, something like that. Dude, I think it's the X2 or I don't know how it works.
Dude, I actually might go to Apple.
I recommend it. I just made the switch back for the iPhone 10 or whatever the newest one is, the iPhone. Yeah. Just the compatibility of the software to be able to send pictures and photos and videos and all that stuff seamlessly through AirDrop is worth it to me.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, dude, I remember I used to be fuck, man. F Apple. Android Nation. I used to work at T-Mobile, and I would tout that
to everybody.
To everybody.
Yeah.
No, why would you get an iPhone? No. Get a freaking Samsung Galaxy. My coworker that's a stupid phone. The only time I wanted to get an iPhone was when they were doing that promotion for AIDS, or they were trying to there's a red phone, and I think it was for AIDS, or it was an AIDS situation, or as breast cancer or something like that. But it was a red phone and it was sick, and I was like, all right, I could see myself rocking something like that. I could see myself with the iPhone to support, and because it's red, and I'm an orange person, but I like the red.
Absolutely.
It was pretty dope.
It's funny how they'll appeal to your emotions like that, right?
Yeah.
Because that's all that is it's a color appeal. It's an emotional appeal to the color. But I've noticed that people who like Androids typically tend to be more on the tech side of things, right? So if they're engineers or tech related, then they usually skew Android because of the fact that the Android's so customizable, and the hardware as far as the RAM and the memory space and all of the features as far as that goes is so much better. Right. But the iPhone is so much more user friendly for more everyday people.
Yeah, I might just do the whole entire freaking switch. My laptop, I'm thinking about getting the MacBook. I mean, I'm just gonna just
convert completely.
Just convert completely, man. Just kind of go on the other side. Why not?
Go to the dark side.
Go to the dark side. Or
is it the light side?
I don't know. I might bring balance of the force with this one. Balance of my force.
Little Anakin Skywalker reference. I dig it.
Yeah. before the franchise went horrible.
Right. Yeah.
Before they went bad.
Pre-failure. I don't know. I was okay with the ending.
Yeah. But anyway, we're gonna go for a break. Yes.
It's gonna be alright there, bud.
Oh shoot!
I'm much funnier off camera, by the
way. No, I couldn't tell. This wine's getting to me.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Oh my gosh.
What is in this thing, man?
Oh, dude. We're not trying to promote alcoholism, by the way.
Absolutely not.
No.
But it is quarantine, so
yes.
If you have nothing better to do.
Nothing better to do.
It's a great way to kill time.
Josh Cellars, for sure. Bourbon. So this one right here, I'm going to read the description in the back. That way I don't sound like I'm BSing.
There you
go. Our Josh Cellars Reserve Bourbon Barrel-Aged Cabernet Sauvignon is made with our award-winning Cabernet Sauvignon. By aging in oak bourbon barrels for 2 months, the wine is embraced with subtle notes of caramel, vanilla, and a hint of bourbon. The resulting Cabernet Sauvignon is bold yet well balanced with a scent of dark fruit and pepper and a long finish. You know, they didn't say any of that on Vivino.
Okay, now do it again, but with a British accent. So
you know
sophisticated.
what? I wish I could do I would not.
Let's hear it. Give it a try.
No. Our Josh Cellars.
Keep going. Let's go.
Reserve. No, I can't. Dude, I'm sorry, dude. I can't do it, bro.
Why does everything in a British accent sound so much more sophisticated?
You know, I think it's because that's where the original Old English comes from. You know what I mean?
It must be what it is.
And, you know, it's funny. Sometimes they're regular. They're like regular people, like everybody else. But because they speak English, apparently they're just a step above everybody. But I don't know. English girls, their accents are pretty hot.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
I can't.
You know, I saw a meme the other day, and it was like, whenever a British person adds absolute in front of a word, you can turn anything into an insult. And I was like, that's so true.
It is kind of true, actually. That is the absolute truth.
You're an absolute porcupine. What?
I can't believe
I'm so offended.
I'm triggered. Porcupine fool. Dude, oh man, you know what'd be cool, dude? Like, I know that you've been on Ellen and you guys are cool. If I can get Ellen on the wine, this show, it's not the wine.
The perfect pour.
The perfect pour. I'm sorry. The perfect pour. If Ellen was on the perfect pour right now, that'd be sick. But who knows?
It would be incredible if Ellen came onto the perfect pour.
I think so.
I think it would be awesome to be able to bridge that gap, right? To where it's like a normal kind of everyday person and celebrity is actually coming down to that level, right?
Yeah, I'd have her do her Dory voice, which is like the same voice.
I think it's the same voice, yeah. I don't think she had to do too much work on that. Maybe have her do Dory in an English accent. I think that would be the trick.
You think she do that?
I mean, I don't think she'll come on the show, but if you got her on the show, she'd definitely do it.
I wonder how many accents Ellen can do. She's not an actor though. She's a comedian.
Yes. So she might be able to, actually.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Stop distracting me.
Sorry.
Austin. Damn it. I want to talk about your favorite magazine feature now.
Okay. So,
all this wine.
Right?
Trying to get me drunk or something?
I've done a couple of magazines. SD Voyager was one of them, which is a local magazine. And that one was really awesome because I got to kind of share my story within that one. And I was on Muscle and Fitness magazine. And that one was also really cool because I go to the grocery store and they say it's going to be my issue of the month. And I'm like, okay, cool. And I get there and Arnold Schwarzenegger's on the cover. And I'm like, the only better person to be on the cover would be me. But
oh man,
that's a goal. That's a life goal, right? And so I've been in a couple issues of Muscle and Fitness magazine, and it's a really awesome experience, right? And so I go to the grocery store and I'm flipping through it, and there's my whole feature, and it was just an awesome experience to be able to have that and to see that, and kind of 10 years of working out and kind of see all that work come to fruition, right? And Muscle and Fitness is kind of like it's been a dream of mine, and the only other dream would be to grace the cover, right? So that's the ultimate goal, is to land a cover, and hopefully one day that will come true as well. But it was really cool to be on the issue with Arnold Schwarzenegger on the front, and 7-8 months later I'm I'm in another issue, and I go and it's The Rock, and I'm sold. I win. My life has been made. I got Arnold Schwarzenegger and The Rock on the two fitness, the two Muscle and Fitness magazine covers that I'm in. So
that is nuts.
Basically, I'm gonna be the next Rock.
You know what? No, we have to sell this right now.
We're gonna drink to that.
If you could, yeah, hell yeah, we're drinking to that.
We'll drink to that.
If you could work out with, any celebrity. Okay, let's keep any celebrity, but let's keep it within the guidelines of
parameters.
The parameters of fitness. Yeah, I mean, you got The Rock, you've got Matt. Oh, sorry, wait. Okay, you got The Rock, Arnold Schwarzenegger. What's his name? Mark Wahlberg. You've got Joe Rogan. You've got all these people.
So many people to choose from.
Who would you work out with?
That's really hard because of how many people there are, right? Obviously Arnold's the GOAT, and it would be awesome just to be in the same room as him, let alone work out with him. The Rock is awesome and has done so many different things, and Titan Games is actually a show that I'm kind of shooting to be on next. But I signed a 1-year non-compete, so I have to wait for that. But it would be a lot of fun to be on that show and to meet him. But I think you hit the nail on the head when you said Marky Mark. I love Mark Wahlberg as an actor, as a person. I actually know his trainer, and he's a really awesome guy, and he's a family guy. He's down to earth. He's funny, and he kind of started, in the 90s. He started as a fitness model and as a rapper, and just kind of built this life for himself. So I think that it would be really fun to meet him and to kind of hear his story and to work out with him.
That'd be sick.
Yeah.
You know who I'd work out with? If I was, if I was like super swole,
You are, man. Look at this.
I mean, I do my thing. I try.
Give the camera a little flex.
Okay, this one right here.
There you go.
This is by the way, this is my right hand. I'm left-handed, so my
all natural, guys. All natural.
Yeah, that's right. My left arm is already bigger, but y'all ain't ready for all that.
Y'all ain't ready for that.
No, of course not. I would work out.
Space Jam? Y'all ain't ready for that.
No. Space Jam's not ready for my left hand. But I would work out with Robert.
I'll get you some secret stuff.
Yeah? Just not steroids.
No, none of that.
I'm not trying to.
Some secret stuff and some primer, and we're going to talk about that later.
Oh, yes, please. But I would work out with freaking Robert Frank.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's an interesting choice.
Yeah, dude. Robert Frank is awesome.
Absolutely.
Robert Frank, Steel Supplements. I think if I was to go with any like supplement company other than the one that's not out yet.
Yeah, exactly.
That we're going to talk
Appreciate
about
that.
in like a couple of
brand loyalty, right?
Brand loyalty. But I love Robert Frank. I think that even though I don't agree with his no leg day, skipping leg day.
Yeah, I mean, nobody wants to be that triangle, right? Where you walk around looking like SpongeBob, so.
I think it's easier. I mean, you tell me, but I think it's easier for short guys to sit there and be like, F leg day. When you're taller, it's like, no, like.
Yeah, I mean, the science behind skipping leg day is really dumb. So as a personal trainer, it's like, I could never recommend that to my clients. I tell people to do more leg days. So I do legs twice a week personally, and I recommend that to almost all my clients depending on their goals, because your legs are your largest muscle group. And so from a scientific perspective, what you're doing when you break down a larger muscle group is you're tearing more muscle tissue, thus burning more calories, right? So if you're expending more energy, you can either eat more calories or you can burn more calories and lose more weight. So it's more advantageous to train legs twice a week.
I have found that like whenever I worked out my legs, I would lose more weight in my midsection for sure.
Yeah.
And then being a cross country runner for like 7 years, like that, I was always like tiny.
Yeah, absolutely. Stick and bone.
Sick and bone. Sick and bone. I had like a 6-pack by default.
There you were skinny ripped.
I was skinny ripped.
Ripped.
I
was skinny ripped too at one point. I was 142 pounds soaking wet, and now I'm 210. So.
Oh wow, dude! Like that's crazy. I've never been that light ever. But how tall were you back in high school?
So. I was my junior year is when I hit my growth spurt. I went from 5'3" to 5'10", basically overnight. It felt like, but I was a skeleton. I was literally 142 pounds. That's what my license says is 5'10", 142. My license at 16 years old. And so my senior year is when I started working out a little bit because of football, and I got up to about 155 during football season. So I was still, by all means skinny ripped. I had a 6-pack, but I was like no muscle at all. And so then once I started my weightlifting journey, I got up to about 190 was where I hit like that first plateau, right? So I went from 155 to 190 within the first few years. Your beginner gains are when you're going to get the most progress. And I put on, some really solid, significant muscle weight. And then I hit up about 190 and I just could not put any more weight on. And that was at the same time I was moving to San Diego. And so I finally started to add the diet component of it, right? Because, when you first start, you don't really realize that it's 80% nutrition. You're just working out and you see the results and you're like, oh, this is awesome. But the diet component didn't really kick in, or I didn't really sink in for me until I started to research it more, and I became a trainer and I started to understand the dynamic of it. And now I know that it's 30 to 3% training, 33% recovery, 33% diet, but it's 100% of all of it. And you have to be able to have a lifestyle that revolves around that, if that's what your goal is. And so for me, I didn't really see the true gains until I started eating properly. Mm-hmm. Once I started eating for those goals, that's when I was able to actually gain weight. And so over the last 5 years is when I went from 190 to about 210. So So
that's crazy, dude. I think I'm like 210 now. So I'm like 203. I'm balancing between 200. I'm trying to get back. I'm trying to lose the weight, man. Because I'm so used to being smaller.
You give me some of it, I'll take it for you.
I'll do. I have it.
It's bulking season for me.
It's like, dude, it's right here. Like I wish it was like some people. They gain weight, but it's like they gain weight in their butt or they gain weight
in the good places.
In the good places.
Yeah.
No, I get it here.
Right.
Like my curse you, Dad. Like, you know what I mean? Like my dad. It's funny. My dad. He gains weight like crazy, but then if you wanted to, he could lose it like that, like
right away.
Yeah, because he's an ectomorph naturally.
Yeah.
And so he like literally, he was a runner. He was running back in the day, but he would run marathons. Like he's nuts. Shout out to my dad.
Right.
But yeah,
it's a different breed.
Yeah, he's I'm more of like a middle distance 400, 800 mile guy. My dad was like, yeah, man, 26 miles.
What's your best mile time?
My best mile time was 4:25.
Wow.
4:27. Sorry.
That's fast.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but I wasn't in high school. High school was like 4:42, and then college I had to bring the heat, so it was like 4:18 for a 1500 meter, but then the mile 1600 meters. So then you add like about 11 seconds to that, so it's about 4:27, 4:28, something like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I freaking.
You're sprinting the entire thing.
Well, yeah, for a mile when you're putting in the mileage when and here's the thing, dude, like 4:27, 4:28, that's slow compared to like a lot of the people that run in intercollegiate, in freaking because I went to Cal State San Marcos. Those guys were running mile times at like 4:15, 4:12, 4:10, 4:07.
Well, that's
4:07.
It's so interesting because that the 4 minute mile was the big thing a while back, right? Whereas like nobody had ever reached the under 4 minute mile mark, and like people didn't think it was possible until the first person did it, and then all of these people started doing it, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like it just goes to show like how important your mindset is, or limitations that you place on yourself are, because like if you believe something's possible, like you actually can achieve it.
Yeah, no, it's definitely interesting how what the freaking human body can do when you put your mind to it. I was a little on the heavier side, and I was like in Cal State San Marcos, I was on the heavier side, and I was like 170, 175. And I was on the heavier side.
Wow.
These guys were shorter, and they were like you. They were like 140.
Right.
145. And so
they the perfect runner. Yeah.
Yeah, they would run, and they were tiny.
Yeah.
Like arms? What is that? No, it's all like they didn't even have legs. They just had freaking like
femurs.
It was just femurs and a six pack. That's all they had. But they were like freaking rice rockets. They would just go and never run out of gas. They just freaking, and it was like, and like me, because I was kind of off and on with my stuff, and I was just be like, man, like these guys are just they're just fast.
Yeah.
Like a 5 minute mile, like that's what they would run per split. Well, a split is like every mile. Like
right.
If we run like miles, like let's say a race would be like 5 miles, right? They would run like a 5:15, 5:30 split.
Wow.
So like their mile times, let's say if we ran like a 4 mile, 5 mile race, they'd be like 20 minute, like ridiculous.
Right.
Like what the fuck?
Like how do you do that?
Yeah. Like how do you do that?
How do you maintain a 5 minute mile pace? Yeah.
I just didn't. But then we had like Steve Scott as our freaking. He's an Olympian. He was our coach.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was pretty awesome to have him as a coach. But yeah, I feel your pain when you talk about injuries, because I had to kind of like train, because at one point my split was like 6:45, which was ridiculously slow. Like, you know what I mean? So I went from 6:45, and coach was real patient. All right, Josh, just keep going. 6:45. Then your goal is to get 6:40, 6:30. Okay, cool. 6:30. Okay, cool. You're doing a good job.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, keep it going. All right, 6:20. Okay, 6:20 splits. All right, yeah, 6:15. Oh, all right, cool. Yeah, all right. You know what? 6 minutes. Oh, all right, Josh.
Wait,
okay.
what?
5:45, and then I got injured.
Yeah, so pushing the limit a little too much.
I got freaking injured, man, right before track season started.
Was that the hip flexor again?
No, this was the peroneus muscle.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, dude. Like right before this track season started, I was supposed to be on the 4x8 national team.
Oh my gosh.
And right when it started, I go ahead and I get injured. And
it's interesting how it always happens at the worst time, right?
It was probably like I haven't like that was probably like one of the more known times like I realized, okay, I'm depressed right now. Like, I'm actually going through depression because I couldn't run, and no matter how hard I tried to train, I tried to recover. By the time I was starting to finally get like to be able to run without feeling pain, it was like more than halfway through the season, and it was my last year, last season at like that I could run. Eligibility.
Such a bummer.
It was
heartbreaking.
It's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
It was heartbreaking. But then, you know, like you instead of fitness, I put all my energy into writing.
Right.
So that's how I ended up getting to that.
Going down the path that you now enjoy and love.
Yeah. But I can run now.
There you go.
I can run again. So
maybe we should go running one of these days.
Don't tell me what a good time, man.
I can't do a 5:45 split. But
Neither can I, dude. Dude, I'm so slow now. I run like a 12-minute mile now. Like I'm so freaking slow, dude. All this muscle, I don't know what to do with this.
Yeah, it's a little too much. It's funny because during quarantine, I wanted to do a challenge. So during the month of March, me and a fellow trainer, we decided to like inspire all of our followers to do a 2-mile run every day of March. And what ended up happening was like I did my first 2-mile run, and I was like dumbfounded with how long it took me. I think it was like 15 minutes to do 2 miles. And I also used to run, and I was like, I used to do a 5:20 mile, right? Like I could run a 5:20 mile, and it was no big deal. Yeah. But that was when I was 150 pounds, and now I'm 205, 210. And so it like inspired me and like fueled me to like, okay, I need to get back to where I was. And so my goal was to get to a 6.5 minute split. And by the end of March, I got back to my 6.5 minute split.
Oh,
so
hell yeah, dude.
We'll drink to that.
Dude, you're, you know what? You're the first guest that's like crushing me right now. With the wine.
Yeah. Well, somebody's got to do it.
The flat. Hey.
It's a tall order, but I'm willing to take on the challenge.
Well, it's not tall enough, barely. Oh. Okay. This is fun, dude.
Right?
I love this.
I'm about it.
This is so dope.
Can we do this every Thursday? Like Thirsty Thursday, Wine Wednesday?
Man, you just keep going with the good times.
With the boys, yeah.
Exactly. Dude, yeah, no, Riley's gonna be in the next episode. So,
cool.
Yeah, you come through.
Absolutely.
We'll definitely do one of these. But yeah, dude. Speaking of all this, you know, athletic stuff or running or whatever, you were on the Ultimate Tag Experience.
I was, yeah. That was kind of the most recent thing that I did. And it was a ton of fun to be a part of that experience. But what's interesting about that one was that was all through Instagram, right? So I'd say that a majority of my like modeling gigs and the things that I've been doing recently have been from Instagram and from all of my own self-promotion as opposed to through my agency, which is both good and bad, right? You know, it's like I have an agent to kind of be the middleman for these things, and then now I have Instagram, which is like your online resume, to where people can reach out to you directly. And so, you know, it sucks because it cuts them out as far as like them being able to negotiate on your behalf. But it's also really cool because then the brands like really love you as a person, right? And so what happened with that one was I had a buddy who was friends with the casting director, and the casting director put out like kind of an opening casting call on his story. And so my friend sent me that story and was like, hey, you would be perfect for this. And so I responded to the casting director. I was like, hey, you know, I'm really interested in being on the show. And the casting director responded and was like, yeah, you look like a great fit. Like, let me put you into the casting process.
Sure.
And so you know, they sent me some requirements to send in some videos of me doing various things to be on Ultimate Tag, and essentially they just wanted to see, you know, if you were athletic, what you could do, and you know, because it's hard to look through pictures to see, you know, if you're athletic and can like hold your own with professionals is what it ended up being.
Right.
And so I you know, spent a whole day to do some filming and did some stuff to where I had to like kind of do some parkour type movements and showcase my athletic abilities.
Wow.
And I sent it in, and I did an interview because they want you to also be very like lively and have a personality on TV.
Yeah.
And so it was a fun experience, like to see the casting process. And then they just went blank, no communication. It was like it never happened, right? And so a month later, out of nowhere, they're like, hey, we want you to be on the show. Fill this out. And I was like, at this point, I was like, I don't want to be on your show anymore. Like, you ghosted me for a month, right?
Yeah, how did you do that? Yeah.
Right? And I was like,
do that to clients?
No communication, blah, blah, blah. So what ended up happening was the casting director, like, got put onto another show. And so, like, all of his files got sent to somebody else, and it was just, like, this huge miscommunication. And so they pinged me again on the email. We're like, hey, like, we really want you on the show. Like, you need to fill these out. So finally I was like, okay, cool. And then I filled out the paperwork, I signed it and sent it in. And then literally they wanted me in LA like a week later. And I went up to LA, and it was 2 weeks of filming. And it was really cool because the Watt brothers were the hosts of the show, so I got to meet them. And obviously I'm huge in football, so like I loved meeting them. And I had a 10-minute conversation with TJ and got to know him as a guy. And what was crazy is, like, he's massive. He's 6'4", like crushing it in the NFL. Really awesome, cool guy. Yeah. And I'm like sitting there thinking, I'm like, I'm older than this guy, and he's making millions of dollars in the NFL. It's just like this really weird like dichotomy, because you see them on TV your whole life, you think, oh, this guy's like 40 or whatever, you think they're a man, and I'm like, this kid's like 23 making millions of dollars in the NFL, and I'm like, good for him. And he's wishing me luck on a game show, and yeah, exactly. So it was really cool to get to meet them and be on the show. And I'd say that the best part of the experience was getting to meet all of the other contestants, right? So they put us all up in a hotel in LA for 2 weeks, and we on days that we weren't filming, we were able to hang out with one another. And all of the contestants were people like me. They're people in the fitness industry, they're trainers, they're models, they're actors trying to make it, and they are, getting casted for the show because they're kind of have a sports background and they're athletic. And so we got to hang out with one another, and we all got to spend time together at the beach and just doing various things, going to the gym, working out, getting to know each other. Yeah. And it was just a really cool experience to meet 40 other like-minded people,
That's awesome, dude. So was it like a nice hotel or?
It was okay. It wasn't anything special. No. But the front desk guy, his name was Q. Shout out to Q. He was awesome. He made our experience awesome.
It's funny. Like, they make it so when it comes to Hollywood or LA, they make it sound like everything you do is just like gold. Like, you're dripped in gold. Like, oh my gosh, I got this casting call, and I was put into a freaking hotel and this nonsense. Because my mother, she acts, and so she goes into Hollywood, and she does some like extra roles and stuff like that, where she's just kind of like an extra in the background.
Yeah, absolutely.
And she tells me these stories where it's like, it's really not bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool, but at the end of the day, it's like,
right.
It's all smoke and mirrors.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and she told me about all these celebrities and who's crazy and who's not. Mm-hmm. But it's really interesting to hear about when people are working in LA, because there was this book that I read in college. It was called Day of the Locust. And it was about this guy. He was like an art director or whatever. And he was basically talking. He was in Hollywood. He's based in Hollywood, and he would literally witness how people would come into Hollywood and how their dreams. They have all these dreams in the beginning, but then over time they would kind of like just get crushed. Mm-hmm. And like it was like a freaking black hole of like dreams and whatever.
Wow.
So
that's deep.
Yeah, it's really deep. It's like people go in there thinking that
makes me want to drink some more.
Oh fuck yeah. But it's always rewarding to see those who stick with their dreams and actually make it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like how, just seeing how far you've gone and how you're on these shows and how you're hanging out with Ellen and how you're in these magazines. Like, dude, that's freaking crazy. Because I'm pretty sure there are people out there who could do just that as much as you are doing it right now. Yeah. Like, they have the potential to do that stuff. They're destined to do it.
Absolutely.
But they're freaking scared.
Right.
Like, dude, I don't know if I have what it takes. And here you are, like, actually, you do have what it takes. Because I have what it takes,
Absolutely. Well, and there's two types of people, right? There's the people that will be like, okay, like, this guy was able to do that. how do I do that? Like he was able to do it. Like I know that I can do it if he did it, right? And then there's also the people that are like, oh no, they have special circumstances, or oh, they got lucky, or woe is me, right? And so I've always been of that mentality that like, okay, if he can do it, I can do it, right? And it's like I'm not upset or jealous or or envious even. I'm just like, that's really amazing. Like good for him that he was able to do that. Like, but he set the path, he paved the road. I see how he did it. I know that I can also do that. And so that's where it comes down to like having the confidence in yourself and having the courage to take that leap of faith and be like, okay, I know that it's been done and I see that there's a clear path to doing it. Now I just have to do it and put in the work to get to that point, right?
Yeah, definitely.
But it really is cool and it's awesome to look back and to be like grateful for all of those experiences, because like all of those experiences made me who I am today, and they kind of put me in a position to be where I am and doing what I'm doing, and kind of give me the credibility to speak to, and help people throughout my life. So
yeah. What'd you place in the Ultimate Tag experience?
So in Ultimate Tag I lost. And if when every life there's a lesson, right? And so for that loss it was a lesson, and I don't like to lose. Like it's just not really in my DNA. However, I genuinely believe that like Thurman, who was my fellow competitor, I believe that he needed it more. Like it was so much more meaningful to him. And at the end of the show, like he like got really teared up from it, and just like I could tell that like he really needed that experience so much more than I did. And so I was like happy and grateful that he won. And so if I did it again, I would do it differently. But like
I was like, oh, you won last time. I appreciate it. But
I definitely am and I was honored just to be able to meet him, because he's such a cool guy. Very similar life experience. He's from the East Coast, but like also doing the fitness modeling route, and super incredible athlete, so like it was a really close battle, and like he edged it out, and he got the better of me that day, and so it was a fun experience, like I said, overall, to meet all of the athletes and to experience like going against the pro taggers, who are all professional parkour athletes and who are all professional athletes in their own regard. So it definitely wasn't a cakewalk at all.
Did he win the whole thing?
So how it worked was you were in an episode with two other contestants. So there were three of you, and there were guys and girls, right? So there were 3 guys and 3 girls per episode, and then you competed in multiple games for your episode. So the first episode, the first game, what they had us do was they essentially threw all 3 of us into the arena, which is like this crazy parkour like playground arena, right? And so you have these professional parkour guys, professional taggers chasing after you, and so they throw these 3 kind of amateur athletes into the arena, and then they have the tagger go chase after you. And so it's literally like a game of like cat and mouse, or like a snake and mouse, right? It's kind of what it felt like. So you're out there and you have this guy who's been doing this his whole life, and you're just experiencing this course for the first time in your life, and it's really fun and like exhilarating to be a part of and to watch, because you literally are watching the snake chase after the mice. And so that first game was a lot of fun. I actually got tagged out first in that, and it kind of put me at a disadvantage, but I was able to come back in the second game, and the third game was like Pac-Man, which was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that one. And the final game is like a final showdown, and so what ended up happening was after the second game, one person got eliminated, and so then it was the last 2 games, it was like 1 versus 1, right? And so in the last game, it's basically just an obstacle course, and you have to complete it the quickest. And in that one, I fell down a couple times.
So you let the guy win.
Yeah, I didn't win, but I stumbled a couple times and made a fool of myself on national television. And but at the end of the day, like I said, he raced really well, and I did the best that I could, and I just ended up not winning that one.
Well, you know what? You're always a winner on my eyes. The fact that
appreciate you.
Yeah, the fact that you actually got on the show, man.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, that's tight.
Absolutely.
That's tight.
And it was a really fun thing to be a part of. So, did a viewing party, got some friends together to watch it, and we all social distanced. And right.
I can't wait till this is over. If it ever be over.
Yeah.
Like the only...
This is 6 feet, by the way, everybody.
Oh yeah, that's right. freaking, I think the only experience that I have is actually my video guy right here. He knows we were on Wayne Brady's
Deal or No Deal?
Let's Make a Deal. It's called. It's called.
Close enough.
Shut up.
Let's give Josh some more wine. Let's give Josh some more Josh.
I can't get enough of Josh.
Me neither. I'm gonna be back.
Yeah, I was on the show. I was handpicked from the audience, and I won. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
That makes one of us.
Yeah, I won like a freaking.
This is the winning side of the couch. This is the losing side of the couch.
Yeah, now we need the social distance. No, I'm just kidding.
We can't be seen together.
No, but like, yeah, we went there, and it's just crazy because like I was on Let's Make a Deal with Wayne Brady. Second time I met him, because the first time I met him was at an In-N-Out with my sister.
Nice.
This is freaking Wayne Brady. And he was just like,
What's up?
I was like, I must have been like
Starstruck.
Yeah, dude, I was like 14.
Yeah.
But I was there, and like I how they do it is like you're in the crowd and whatever. It's like a game show, and you basically have to be seen. So you have to do whatever you have to do just to be seen.
Yeah.
And like and eventually what they'll do is they'll pick out somebody in the audience. So what I decided to do was like, okay, I know the trendiest dances. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do the dance. I'm gonna make everybody do it with me. So I literally had the whole entire row doing the same dance I was doing.
Yeah.
And when they realized that I was the
leader, yeah.
They put me on there.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And so like, yeah.
You figured out the system.
I figured out the system.
I love it.
Yeah, I mean, hey, yeah, you know what I mean? This is all about leadership, you know what I
There
mean?
you go. Inspiring others.
Yeah, man. And it's crazy because I don't know how if it's the same with you. Like, do they like? I don't know if they tell you where to go or if it's a free for all performance athletic ability.
So, I mean, this might be something that people would find interesting. Is within the show, it was a free for all. Like when you're in the arena, like it's go time. You know, like you basically let your instincts take over, and my instincts are to fall on the ground. But backstage or behind the scenes, right? I don't know, like I'm assuming most reality television is like this. They have a kind of a script for you, right? So they want you to fit like a certain part of their story of what they're telling for this episode, right? And so I had multiple backstories. I could, like, one of my backstories was high school football player who didn't make it to the pros, right? And then another backstory was fitness model who is more than just a fitness model, right? I'm not just a pretty face. I'm an athlete as well. And the last story was that I was a grandma's boy, and so so they made me like keep saying that like my grandma's my number one fan, and that like I'm doing this for my grandma, and I do love my grandma. She's amazing, and she is my number one fan, and I do love her. So not a bad backstory.
I love you too, grandma.
But everything is very skewed to that persona, right? And so everybody kind of had their own script or their own persona, and they basically kind of steered you in the right direction of saying those things on camera so that they could catch that and basically tell the story the way they wanted to tell it. And
of course.
So those were very scripted and very like directionally charged, whereas once you're on the actual game show, like you're basically a free-for-all.
See, you know what? I wish I would have done something like that. Like, I'm grateful to be on the show that I was, but like,
there's still time. You have plenty of time.
Yeah, because I'm an athlete too.
Still young.
I crave that competition as well. But yeah, when I was on the freaking I keep forgetting the names of the thing. Let's Make a Deal. Thank you, man. Let's Make a Deal.
It's bourbon barrel aged. I love it.
It's for bourbon barrel. Dog, he's
I'm already out.
Oh, love, dude. I need to get it together, man.
Can I get a refill?
Go. If you don't mind, I have the perfect pour on my side.
Right. Well, the goal is to finish the bottle before we finish, right?
Dude,
is that how it works?
Dude, that's exactly. So the last guy I had, dude. So I gotta tell you, I'm sorry, George. I'm sorry. I have to tell the story. So the last time, I was like, the first episode, I was like, yeah, man. we're gonna literally kick it till the bottle is empty. Like, we're just boys or whatever. And then he's like, hey, bro, like, you gotta take it easy. Because, like, afterwards, because he had a blast.
Yeah,
he was like, oh, we freaking, But then he turns around and he's like, well, we gotta take it easy because, we don't want to promote alcoholism.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, oh.
I'm a former frat star, so I don't promote alcoholism, but, like, I have a bottle of wine.
Yeah. And
that's a typical Thursday for me.
Typical athlete. All this competition going on.
Wine promotes vascularity, and 1 glass a day is good for your health.
There we go.
You heard it here first.
That's right. And bourbon is made out of some kind of wheat, right?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure, but...
Yes. So
we get our Google guy on that.
Yeah, please, yeah. But he's like giving me all this crap, like, I don't want to promote this and that, and here you come on, and I'm over here like, okay, hold on, you're like, F that, another round. I'm just like, dude, hell yeah.
The perfect pour it up.
The perfect freaking pour. See, the wine down is trash, but the perfect pour is dope. So anyway, on the show, let's make a deal. I remembered it this time. Let's make a deal. Whereas where you had like a storyline, whatever, obviously I'm on the spot, and I get there and I'm in, like I get picked from the crowd. I have to come on stage, and literally they have signs that tell you, act excited, act sad, act this.
They're giving you verbal cues, yeah.
Yeah, like I needed them.
Right.
I'm on TV. I'm excited as shit. And so I'm like, dude, I don't really need. But I followed the guidelines. And so, literally, it would be like, Wayne Brady would ask you a question, and then I'd be like, oh, and I'd look, and then they'd say, oh, act sad. Oh, man, oh, yeah, dude.
You're like, I just lost. Of course I'm sad. What the hell?
Act inspired. Oh, dude, I want to be like you one day. And so, like, freaking, so I got to pick, which one? Curtain 1, curtain 2, whatever. And I think it was like, I picked one of the curtains, and I won like a sleep machine, a sleeping machine, which was dope. And I won like $300. 600 says it, $300. And I guess I could have won like a scooter or something like that, like a high-end scooter. It's like, oh, look at curtain number 1, and then curtain number 1 goes, and it's like a scooter. And honestly, I didn't give a fluff about the damn scooter. But because the sign was like act sad, I was like, oh, the scooter! Oh, I could have won a scooter! Oh!
I'm in my late 20s. I need a sleep machine. Come on.
I was like, no, I'll trade it in. Can I trade it in, please? But one time, oh, dude, Anthony, you might have to come in the shop for this one, dog. Remember that guy who literally had a system, a full freaking. Come here, man. Right here. Give me a story about freaking.
I know who he's talking about too. So what happened was, there's this guy, right? He went up. I think he went up after you. So Josh was the first contestant, right? And then he picked like 2 or 3 more. So the last guy got like the big options, right? So somehow he won like a full-on entertainment system with a big TV, and he won tickets to the. I don't know if it was a Super Bowl or like the NCAA finals. He won some big tickets to like a really big game, and so he won that, and so he has it in the bag, right? And then later on, he decides to gamble it. So after
Wayne was like, all right, you have everything, you can walk away with it now, or you can risk it all for a chance of like $25,000 or something like that.
Yeah. So it's I think it's like the final show or whatever. Like they pick the contestants who already won, and if they say, "Oh yeah, I'd like to go again," they'll go again, right? So this guy just happens to be the last winner, so he gets the first choice to make that choice. So he decides to take it.
Yeah.
And like he's there, so he's gonna gamble these like entertainment system and like these tickets, which you literally can't buy these tickets for this football game.
Yeah.
And so
all the men are like, "Don't do it," and all the girls are like, "Do it!"
so girls on the sleep machine, and obviously you can gamble that, right? This guy already has like the full package, like he doesn't need anything else, and so he goes for it. And Josh, you remember what happens when he went for it?
Dude, so he goes for it and literally go on the commercial break, and we're like, dude, like this guy's an idiot, right? So then he's like, all right, dude, so you gamble it up. The $25,000 is in one of these 2 curtains. All you have to do is pick. 50% chance, 50-50. That's what it was, 50-50. And he was like, all right, pick one. Oh, okay. Curtain A or curtain B. And you got the drum roll. You got people freaking out in the audience. Next thing you know, I'm gonna go auction B. And he goes auction B.
So the best part was that earlier on we learned that he wasn't local, right? He was from LA. He was from California. He was from out of state. And so what he won. I remember this because our friend Enrique was laughing so hard. I've never seen him laugh that hard. This guy won, I think, a month of what was that? Like aerobics class, like you're dangling down like the ribbons. I forgot. It was like aero classes. He won like a month of aero classes in a specific LA gym
instead of.
Yeah, and that's all he won. So he can't even use his membership. For his aerial classes.
Right.
So, but he gave up everything. And but Josh, you ran into him later, right, in the winner's circle.
So check it out. I don't know if this is the same for because I'm pretty sure like you guys have like the contestants or whatever. They kind of get together and behind the scenes. So we get behind the scenes, all the winners, they go back behind the scenes. You got people that have won all this money and all this stuff. I got my little kit,
sleep machine.
My sleep machine. And
you still use it?
My sleep, no, I don't know what happened. I think it's in my mom's house somewhere.
All right.
But I have the sleep machine and and my $300 because I won $300 too. And there's just and you know you go up to there and you're like you gotta pay taxes and you have to wait like a certain period of time before the show airs, which is like 3 months in the future. They are the guy who lost everything. They're literally trying to like have like counseling sessions with this fool because like he's going through it.
Distraught.
Like, yeah, he's
PTSD.
Like he's going through like PTSD. Like he's distressed.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. He's having anxiety attacks. It's like I don't know what I'm gonna do. That's the stupidest thing. Is there any way that I can
go back?
Yeah. He's like, no, sir. I'm sorry. My dad's gonna kill me. He would have loved it.
God, I feel so bad for that guy.
He would have loved that system, and he loves basketball. I had tickets. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I can't go back home like this. I'm sorry, sir, but that's just the name of the game. You know, you got played.
Yeah, he's like, listen, you got a month of aerial classes you can use.
They're like, and both briefcases were empty.
It was so crazy, dude.
I remember Josh came out of there, and I was like, did you see all the winners? He's like, yeah, dude, that one guy who lost it, he had to go to therapy.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
He came out.
He did, dude. He was effed up.
That sucks.
It was bad.
Yeah.
Like it's one thing to lose, but when you've won.
Right. Yeah.
And then
the psychological effect.
Oh, it's like, dude. And so it's like, all I have to, if I could just go back 1 minute in time.
Yeah.
And just make a better decision. I'd have a system.
That's the thing, right? Though, would he go back in time and choose A, or would he go back in time and not do it?
Not gambling. Like, he was just so adrenaline filled.
So it's like, do you really learn your lesson, or do you?
I think he would. I think he wouldn't do it, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't think because like honestly like I don't know why he didn't like as I don't know, maybe he sounds a little sexist, but like, dude,
maybe they had a card up saying say yes.
Don't say yes, you're not getting on the show.
Nah, they gave him an out. They gave
say
him,
yes, make it more interesting.
They gave him every out there was.
Yeah.
They gave him every out there was. This is like, dude,
Are you sure?
Even Wayne Brady was like, dude, I wouldn't even.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and he said, "I'm gonna do it anyway, Brady." I'm like, Brady was like, all right, man. Okay, you know. That hurt me. That hurt every guy in the building. I was like, dog, a freaking 3D surround system and tickets.
Right.
I was like, what are you?
Yeah, no, we were still laughing in the car about it. Like, we're on the way home from LA back to San Diego, we were still cracking up about it.
Dude, if you
What if he's still in counseling? Probably.
He probably has like no successful relationship.
Yeah, I know, right?
Problems with his dad.
I feel so bad.
He can't watch football anymore.
It's probably an incel.
And I just lost on Ultimate Tag. Fall down a couple times.
Alright, well, it's nice showing you guys. I'm gonna clap out.
So, dude, you're an athlete, you're accomplished, you're decorated, you're all this stuff. You've been on Ellen, you've been on Ultimate Tag Experience, you're a model, you've been on magazines, and now just when things are getting really good, you're not slowing down anytime soon. You decide to come out with your own supplement company called Tribe Co. Tell us about that. I'm super duper excited here.
Absolutely. So it's one of those things. Tribe Co is kind of an embodiment of me, but it's also an embodiment of the community, right? And so basically, I kind of saw a market 5-6 years ago in the supplement industry, and specifically within the pre-workout industry. And basically what I started doing was I was looking at the labels of my pre-workout, and I was like, I can't read any of these ingredients. And what ends up happening is you take one pre-workout, and then the next month, it doesn't work anymore. So you switch to a new pre-workout, and you're always kind of constantly pushing the envelope. And I think it's very common with weightlifters, with bodybuilders, with people who work out, because they're like, oh, I'm pushing through goals. I should push through pre-workouts too, right? I'm going to switch because this one will give me the next edge and I'll be able to push through my plateaus.
Right.
And I started doing more research, and I started to realize that the ingredients that were in these pre-workouts were just harmful stimulants that were giving you that crazy high and making you feel all jacked up and jittery, but not really having any effect on you overall.
Oh.
So I decided to make my own. Basically, I was like, okay, I did the research and I started diving in. I was like, okay, I can do all of these different amino acids, the ones that are actually beneficial, and I can do scientifically backed doses, and I can make it a lot cheaper than if I were to buy pre-workout, right? And so I was doing this for years. I was making it for me and my roommate, who was my training partner at the time, and he loved it and I loved it because it was healthy, it was natural, it was good for you. And fast forward for 4 or 5 years, I'm doing my MBA program, and they're like, hey, you have an entrepreneurial project. You have to come out with a business idea, a business model. And so for my entrepreneurship class, I was like, okay, I'm already making this pre-workout. How cool would it be if I were to bring this to the market, right? And so one of my roommate, my old college roommate, the one who got me who basically set me on the program, was like, hey, I'll do it with you. I've tried it and I love it. I think that this is a good business, that's viable business, right? So we take that business model, we create the pre-workout, we do a minimum viable product, and we pitch this as our entrepreneurial business, right? So we do all the research, we get the manufacturers, we do a competitive analysis, we do a SWOT analysis, all of these different things that are incorporated with starting a business. We do a business plan, and I start running all the numbers, and I'm like, this is actually something that I would love to do. And so fast forward to graduation, I'm thinking we're going to start the supplement business, and he ends up finding a real job. And he was like, I love this and I love doing this with you, but I'm going to go this route because this is more me. And so then I was left with my, to my own devices. And I was starting my training business. I actually was in the process of figuring out what I wanted to do post-graduation, and so it kind of fell to the wayside, right? I was still making my own pre-workout, but I wasn't starting a business. And fast forward about a year later, I'm starting the new job as a trainer at Fit Athletic in Mission Beach. One of my current training partner, my best friend here in San Diego, was like, hey dude, I know you've been wanting to do this for a long time. I have some free time. You're starting at a new gym. We should do this now. And I'm like, okay, it's the perfect time. And so we decide we're going to start a business, whatever we have to do, we're going to do it. And so the pre-workout's ready. It's all formulated. We're going to make a run at this.
Cool.
And I meet a new client who, his name is Chris. We hit it off right away. He has his master's in genetic engineering, and I'm basically picking his brain. And for those of you who don't know what genetic engineering is, essentially it's gene coding. So he's done 6-7 years of schooling where he's done biology, and he's done chemistry and organic chemistry and physics and anatomy and all of these classes that pertain to the human body, and genetics especially. And so I'm like running my formula by him. I'm like, yo, what do you think of this? And I like give him a sample and let him try it. And he's like stoked about it too, because we kind of hit it off right away. And so I'm like, okay, hey, like I'm going to introduce you to my other business partner, because like I think the three of us should do this together. And so I introduced the two of them together and they hit it off right away. Mm-hmm. And it was just kind of like this perfect fit. And so essentially he took over the formulation process because he understands how the amino acids interact within your body, but also with one another. And so our bodies have different digestive pathways, and different ingredients will overlap with one another, and they'll also interact with your body differently. Yeah. So the fact that he understands like the water solubility of everything, the effectiveness of everything, and the safety of everything made it so much more important for him to be doing that than me, because he's a scientist, right?
Sure.
And so him having that credibility, him being able to make the product made it 10 times better. Basically, my whole original formula got scrapped, and he created 6 versions of a new product that we tested and developed and are now proud to call our newest pre-workout. Wow. And so essentially what we did was we created a male and a female version of an all-natural or naturally occurring pre-workout. And so instead of it having harmful stimulants, 300 plus milligrams of caffeine, it's things that are all naturally occurring in the body or all naturally occurring in nature that interact well within your body and are provided in the most effective doses that are backed by scientific evidence to actually have the effect that they're supposed to have, right? So, long-winded answer, but most of the products that are currently out there, you know, they'll claim to have a certain amount of ingredients that are supposed to, you know, give you endurance or give you energy or give you pump. But most of the time what happens is it's not enough of that ingredient to actually have the impact that it's supposed to have. So they claim that it's in there and they claim that it has that impact, but you're not getting enough of it to actually see those benefits. So our product is completely transparent. It's completely backed by science as far as like the most effective doses that you can include.
Sure.
But what's the most important thing to me is Tribeco is so much more than a supplement company. It's a community. And what we realized is that like, hey, I met this really amazing person. He's one of my best friends now through the gym. He's one of my clients, but had he not been one of my clients, I would have never met him, right? And so we hit it off, became best friends right away. And we're like, there's such an opportunity here for people to meet one another, especially in a place like the gym where it's a community of like-minded people who have the common goal of self-improvement, right? They're trying to improve themselves, they're trying to improve their bodies. But when everybody's at the gym, they're headphones in, they're in their zone, they're working out, they're not trying to meet people, right? But what we notice is like, okay, hey, we finished college, like where do you meet friends now? You know, you don't really go out to the bars to meet friends, you go out to meet other people or whatever, or you go out with your friends, right? And so you kind of have this like lack of community within that like 20 plus something. And so we were like, hey, why don't we create a community where we bring people from the gym and we start throwing events. And so what we did was one of our first events was we threw a huge beach workout and we got people to mingle and network. And then we did a bonfire followed by a bar crawl. So it kind of embodied all the things that San Diego is. You got to do the beach, you got to work out, you got to do a bonfire, mingle with some people, and then we did a bar crawl to kind of top it all off. And people really got to open up, and the entire event, we had over 200 people come all day long. Wow. And so now these people that met at the bonfire can be like, hey, you know, like I met you at the bonfire, let's get a workout in. And so it's a new way to find a new personal relationship. And so that's the big thing is we really want to like hone in on that community and build a tribe, so to speak, to where people have like interests and they find people that they can be friends with, both inside and outside of the gym.
That is freaking amazing.
Yeah, so that's kind of the goal of Tribeco, and you know, it's an all-natural supplement company, but it's a product that you can take, you can feel good about taking it. You know that you're fueling your body with the right ingredients, something that's not going to be harmful to your health long term, but also give you the advantages of taking a pre-workout to where you're going to be stronger, you're going to have more focus, you're going to have more energy, and you won't have the crash because you don't have any of those harmful stimulants in it.
That's freaking crazy, dude. Yeah. I know that. I'm getting tired of drinking Bang Energy.
Don't even get me started with that.
That's freaking crazy. I gotta try some of that stuff, dude, because I'm very much into.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll get you some samples.
Yeah, I would love it, man. I would love it. Tribeco. I'm serious.
Tribeco.
You guys really gotta try that out, dude. Austin Santee is out here doing amazingly big things. That's not even real word, but you know the wine says it's a real word, so that's what it is. But no, Tribeco. You know, no artificial ingredients, no natural stimulants. This is gonna be amazing. Love to write a copy for it if I ever got a chance to. But I wish you the best success to that. I know it's gonna freaking take over. You know, I know it's gonna crush it. You know, but yeah, man. We might have to finish up this bottle here because
I think that's what the doctor ordered.
I think so, man.
Was it a glass a day keeps the doctor away? Something like that.
Yeah, because we hung over in bed.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to that. Cheers to you, bro. Cheers to all your success.
Thank you.
In the past and in the near future.
Thank you so much for having me on the show and for the team here to.
Oh man, no, my team
is so accommodating.
The best team. The best team. I'm gonna have both of them on here eventually. I had one of them today, but yes, guys, listen. If you wanted anybody to find you, where can I find you?
So you can find me on Instagram, Austin Santee, YouTube, also Austin Santee, and Facebook is Austin Santee. TribeCo is tribe.co, so trib.co, and it's coming soon, so be on the lookout for that.
Well, there you go, guys. There you heard it from the horse's mouth. Tribe.co coming this
couple months by the end of the year. Yeah.
All right, coming this fall.
Coming this year.
This wine is amazing.
Right?
Listen, guys, we had so much fun today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Austin, thank you so much for coming on the show and blessing the show with your presence. My name is Joshua Copeland, and this is another episode of Perfect Pour, not the wind down. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you guys soon. Take it easy. Well, before you go, Josh, I also have a score. Vivino, I also have a score. It's called the Josh score. And this one is clearly a 4.5 out of 5. Only because I've never seen a wine that's 5 out of 5. I'm not giving it a 5 out of 5. Who cares? 5 out of 5.
I give it a 5.
Best wine I've had so far.
We're finishing the bottle.
Finishing the bottle. Hell yeah. Down.